Have you ever stood at the edge of your bed in the morning and paused? Not because you were tired, not because you didn't want to move, but because your legs felt distant, as if they belonged to someone else. A quiet heaviness tugging downward, like your body was moving through fog. You reach for the wall or the side of the dresser just to steady yourself. And maybe you tell yourself it's just one of those days. But deep down you wonder, is this the beginning of something more? You're not alone in that fear. Every 11 seconds in America, a senior is rushed to the emergency room because of a fall. Not from running or lifting, but simply from walking, from stepping wrong, from standing up too quickly. That's not just a number, that's thousands of stories like yours, like mine, where a single misstep changed everything. A fractured hip, a bruised back, weeks in bed that turn into months of lost mobility. But here's what most people never tell you. Leg weakness isn't just normal aging. It's not just something to accept. It's a signal, a quiet cry from your body that it's missing what it needs most. And the answer, it's not inexpensive treatments. It's not a fancy supplement or a personal trainer. Sometimes the answer is already in your kitchen. Because just like a plant wilts without water, your muscles wilt without the right nutrients. And after the age of 50, your body becomes more selective, more sensitive to what you give it. If you've ever felt like your legs don't carry you the way they used to, if the stairs feel steeper than they did last year, if you hesitate before standing up from the couch, you don't need to surrender to that decline. In fact, there are 4 simple foods, yes, just 4, that have helped thousands of older adults rebuild their strength, regain their balance, and walk through life with confidence again. Like Maria, who thought she'd need a cane forever after falling in her bathroom until a few small changes in her meals helped her walk unassisted again. Or Jose, who used to tremble just trying to stand and now walks up the stairs without holding the rail. Their stories didn't begin in a hospital. They began at the table. Because your body isn't giving up on you. It's just waiting for the right support. So if you've been noticing the signs, the heaviness, the stiffness, the wobbly steps, don't ignore them. They're not just symptoms. They're invitations. Invitations to restore, to nourish, to start again. And that's exactly what we'll do, starting with the first food on our list. But before we dive in, if any part of this feels familiar to you, if you've felt that quiet unease in your legs lately, or if someone you love is struggling with their steps, stay with us. Subscribe to Senior Fit, where growing older doesn't mean growing smaller. It means growing stronger, wiser, and still moving forward. Now, let's begin with the first food. It's small, it's simple, and it may just be the foundation your legs have been waiting for. It doesn't look like much. Small, pale, round, maybe even a little bland at first glance. But don't let its appearance fool you, because inside this humble little legume lies one of the most powerful overlooked tools for rebuilding the strength in aging legs. Chickpeas, also known as garbanzo beans. And if you're over 60 and struggling with balance stiffness or that unsettling weakness in your lower body, this small food might just be your biggest ally. Let me tell you about Jose. He was 74 when I met him. A retired shoemaker from Seville with strong hands, a warm smile, but legs that shook every time he tried to stand. He had taken a tumble down 3 steps in his home. No broken bones, thank God. But what he lost that day was confidence. He told me something I'll never forget, Doctor. I don't want more pills. I just want to walk again without fear. So we started with something simple. We looked at his meals. And we added chickpeas 3 times a week, in stews, in soups, in salads. Nothing fancy, nothing expensive, just consistent, thoughtful fuel. 5 weeks later, Jose walked into my clinic taller, steadier, smiling from ear to ear. He said, "My knees, they feel alive again," and that was no accident. You see, chickpeas are packed with plant-based protein, the very building blocks your muscles need to recover, grow, and stabilize. And as we age, especially after 50, our bodies begin a slow process of muscle breakdown called sarcopenia. It's subtle at first, a little more fatigue when standing, but left unchecked, it can quietly rob you of your mobility. Chickpeas help fight back. They're also rich in magnesium, iron, and vitamin B6 nutrients that keep your muscles responsive and your nerves firing smoothly. They support muscle contraction, reduce stiffness, and help your body deliver oxygen where it's needed most. A 2019 study from the University of Murcia in Spain confirmed it. Seniors who ate chickpeas 3 times a week experienced 22% less muscle loss than those who didn't. That's not just a number. That's the difference between walking freely and holding the wall every time you move. The best part, chickpeas are incredibly versatile. You can roast them with olive oil and rosemary for a savory snack. Toss them into a salad with cucumber, red onion, and lemon. Or simmer them with turmeric, black pepper, and vegetables for a warming, anti-inflammatory stew. If you're using dried chickpeas, here's a quick tip. Soak them overnight with a pinch of baking soda. It breaks down compounds that block iron absorption, making them easier to digest, especially for older adults who often deal with bloating, lightheadedness, or low energy due to poor absorption. Start with about half a cup, roughly 125 grams of cooked chickpeas per serving. Just 2 to 3 times a week is enough to make a noticeable difference in leg strength, energy, and confidence. Remember, it's not about overhauling your life. It's about nourishing your legs one meal at a time. Because food isn't just fuel, it's medicine, it's movement, it's freedom. And chickpeas are a quiet little key that can help unlock that freedom again. Up next, we'll talk about another small food with a big impact, especially for those nighttime leg cramps that steal your sleep. But first, a quick question. Have you tried chickpeas lately? If not, what's one easy way you might add them to your meals this week? Let us know in the comments. Your story might inspire someone else to take their first step forward too. It's the middle of the night. The house is quiet. The world is asleep. And then it strikes a sharp stabbing cramp in your calf. You shoot upright. Leg muscles clench tight like steel cables. You try to massage it, walk it off, breathe through it. But the damage is done. You're wide awake, exhausted, and left with an ache that lingers into the morning. Sound familiar? If you've ever experienced those late-night leg cramps, you know they don't just steal your sleep, they steal your strength. But there's good news. There's a tiny food easy to find and easier to eat that can gently turn this story around. Pumpkin seeds. They may look like nothing more than a snack, but they're actually a neurological secret weapon, especially for seniors battling tension, twitching, or restless legs. You see, pumpkin seeds are one of the richest natural sources of magnesium, a mineral that's absolutely critical for muscle control, nerve signaling, and relaxation. And here's the twist. Most people over 50 are magnesium deficient without even knowing it, even with a healthy diet, even if you're taking vitamins. Modern food processing, stress medications, and age all deplete magnesium levels silently. And when your magnesium is low, you may notice cramping at night, tingling or twitching in your legs, stiff knees after short walk, or simply fatigue that doesn't match your effort. Pumpkin seeds offer a gentle solution. Not only are they packed with magnesium, but they also provide zinc-healthy fats and antioxidants, a blend that eases inflammation in the joints and protects nerve endings from fraying with age. In fact, a 2020 study by Complutense University of Madrid found something remarkable. Adults over 55 who ate just 30 to 40 grams of pumpkin seeds daily for 6 weeks reported a 31% reduction in nighttime leg cramps. They also perform better in balance and stability tests, like standing on one foot or walking heel to toe without swaying. These aren't abstract numbers. These are real changes in how you walk, rest, and feel each day. Let me tell you about Carmen. She was 68, still working part-time as a librarian. Every night around 300 a.m., she'd wake up gasping, her calves locked in pain. She tried warm baths, magnesium sprays, stretching before bed. Nothing lasted until we tried something simpler. I asked her to start eating a handful of pumpkin seeds around 4:00 in the afternoon, every single day. Unsalted, roasted, no pills, no powders. Just seeds. 3 weeks later, her cramps were down by half. By 6 weeks, they had all but disappeared. She told me, for the first time in years, I slept through the night without fear. And better sleep wasn't the only benefit. She had more energy in the mornings. Her thoughts were clearer. She even began taking longer walks just for fun. This is the power of small, consistent nourishment. So here's how to make it work for you. How much? 30 grams, about 2 tablespoons of roasted unsalted pumpkin seeds. When between 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. Why? It gives your body time to absorb the magnesium, balance your nerves, and prepare for deeper sleep. How? Sprinkle on oatmeal, blend into smoothies, toss on salad, or enjoy as a warm toasted snack. One extra tip. Try combining your pumpkin seeds with a few slivers of dried mango or a square of dark chocolate. The natural sugars help magnesium absorb even better, and it turns your healthy habit into something you'll look forward to each afternoon. Because this isn't about restriction, it's about restoration. Restoring control, restoring rest, restoring the quiet joy of waking up without pain. So, if those leg cramps have been haunting your nights, give this a try, not just once, but consistently. Your body deserves it. And once you've felt the difference when you stretch your legs in the morning and there's no sting, no tightness, just ease, you'll understand why this tiny seed deserves a place in every senior's kitchen. Now let's keep going, because the next food doesn't grow in a garden. It comes from the sea, and it just might hold the answer to stiff joints, creaky knees, and the balance issues no one warned you about. There's a sound you begin to recognize as you grow older. It isn't loud, it isn't painful, but it's persistent. A soft pop in your knee when you rise from a chair. A subtle creak when you twist to reach something behind you. A quiet resistance when you try to kneel, bend, or climb the stairs. At first, you shrug it off. It's nothing, you say, just getting older. But slowly, quietly, those little noises grow into something more. Your knees begin to ache when the weather changes. The stairs feel taller. Your balance, not what it used to be. And beneath it all, a question forms. Will I ever feel light on my feet again? The answer, surprisingly, may be found not in the pharmacy, but in the waves. Because deep beneath the surface of the sea grows something soft, delicate, and often overlooked. Seaweed. Yes, seaweed. Not just the garnish on a sushi plate, but a nutritional powerhouse rich in minerals your joints and bones desperately crave, especially after 60. Seaweed, particularly types like wakame, kombu, sea lettuce, and nori, contains a unique blend of organic calcium iodine and powerful anti-inflammatory compounds that help rebuild what time has worn down. Unlike many calcium supplements, seaweed's calcium is plant-based, naturally balanced with magnesium and trace minerals, making it easier to absorb, especially for aging bodies. But seaweed's magic goes even deeper. It supports your joints by restoring synovial fluid, that slippery substance between your bones that allows for smooth, pain-free movement. It nourishes cartilage, protects it from breakdown, and eases inflammation. which is often the real culprit behind stiffness and that deep bone-level discomfort. A 2021 study published in the American Journal of Community Nutrition found this women over 60 who included seaweed in their diets 2 to 3 times a week had up to 16% higher bone density than those who didn't. That's not just about stronger bones. That's about protection. Because at this stage in life, even a small fall can lead to a major fracture, especially in the hip. And recovering from that, it's never easy. Sometimes it changes everything. But seaweed helps prevent that scenario. It builds from the inside, gently, quietly, powerfully. Let me tell you about Maria. She was a yoga instructor for over 30 years, flexible, graceful, full of light. But arthritis crept into her knees like fog over a valley. First, she gave up deep lunges. Then she stopped teaching altogether. She told me, "I feel like I've lost a part of who I am." We didn't start with medication. We started with the ocean. We added seaweed to her weekly routine miso soup with wakame light seaweed salads, nori wraps filled with avocado and vegetables. After 2 months, Maria wasn't back to handstands, but she could kneel again, she could stretch, she could move without that old grinding pain. And with that movement, her confidence returned. She told me, "My joints feel younger than I do." And isn't that the dream? To feel like our bodies are catching up with our spirit, not holding it back. So here's how to bring seaweed into your life. How often? 2-3 times per week. How to use. Add wakame to warm soups. Toss seaweed flakes on salads, or use nori sheets to wrap veggies or rice. A flavor tip. When making seaweed broth, add a few slices of fresh ginger and a drizzle of sesame oil. This helps with digestion and boosts calcium absorption, especially helpful for seniors with slower metabolism or sensitive stomachs. You don't need a lot. You don't need it daily. But when added regularly, seaweed becomes a quiet protector of your bones, a support system for your knees, hips, and spine. Because this food isn't flashy, it won't promise overnight miracles. But it will do something better. It will show up for you, meal after meal, step after step. And over time, you'll begin to notice something subtle yet extraordinary. The stairs won't feel so steep. Your turns will feel smoother, and when you stand tall, you'll feel strong from the inside out. Up next, we'll talk about the final food. It doesn't come from the sea or the garden, but from a tree. Creamy, gentle, and perhaps the most emotionally healing food of them all, especially if you've been feeling numb physically or otherwise. Have you ever stepped off a curb and felt like your body moved, but your brain didn't register it? That strange moment when your foot lands, but the message feels delayed, disconnected, unsure. Or maybe you felt tingling in your toes, a numbness in your calves, or a quiet sense that walking isn't what it used to be. Not just physically, but mentally, like there's a hesitation inside. For many older adults, these feelings aren't just in your head. They're a real biological signal that your nerves, the messengers that carry movement, balance, and coordination, are undernourished. But here's the hopeful part. There's a food creamy, soft, and rich in silent strength that helps reconnect those signals, revive those nerves, and restore your balance from the inside out. Avocado. This isn't just a trendy brunch topping. For seniors, it's a neurological healer. You see, avocados are rich in monounsaturated fats, especially oleic acid, a fatty acid that strengthens nerve membranes and helps your body transmit messages from your brain down to your legs more smoothly and more accurately. Imagine a frayed wire connecting a lamp to the outlet. The lamp flickers, struggles, or doesn't turn on. But when the wire is repaired, the current flows freely again. That's what avocado does for your nerves. It repairs the wires. It helps your muscles listen to your brain again. But it doesn't stop there. Avocados are also packed with potassium, for fluid balance and muscle contraction. Vitamin E, an antioxidant that protects nerve endings from oxidative stress. Folate and B vitamins, critical for nerve function and brain health. In 2021, researchers at the American Institute of Nutrition and Geriatrics found that adults over 65 who ate avocado 4 times a week experienced significant improvements in posture, step stability, reaction time, confidence when walking. Let me share the story of Miguel. He was 79, a retired school teacher who loved walking with his grandson every evening. But something had changed. He told me, "I can't feel my feet. I trip, I shuffle, and I'm afraid I won't be able to keep up with him anymore." His heart ached more than his legs. So we didn't reach for pills. We reached for something far more powerful, his breakfast. We swapped out his morning sugary toast for a new ritual, a slice of whole grain bread topped with mashed avocado chia seeds and a squeeze of fresh lemon. Just one change, done consistently. By the end of week 4, Miguel walked into my clinic glowing. He said, "I can feel the ground beneath my feet again, and I can feel my grandson's steps beside mine." That's not just nutrition, that's restoration of movement, of connection, of purpose. So if you've been feeling disconnected in your lower body, if walking feels unsure, if your balance feels compromised, give avocado a chance. Here's how. How often? 3 to 4 times per week. How much? 1/3 to a half of an avocado per serving. When morning is ideal for absorption and daily stability. How? Spread on toast with lemon and seeds. Dice into salads or grain bowls. Blend into smoothies with banana and almond milk. Or simply enjoy on its own with olive oil and a pinch of sea salt. And here's a tip for added benefit. Sprinkle on ground flax seeds, walnuts, or chia seeds. They boost omega-3s and add more vitamin E, supporting both nerve health and reducing inflammation throughout your joints. Because sometimes healing isn't loud. It doesn't come from a prescription. It comes from small, steady choices that remind your body how to connect, move, and trust itself again. So let's recap. You now know 4 powerful foods that can rebuild muscle chickpeas, prevent nighttime cramps, pumpkin seed, restore joint fluid and bone density, seaweed, reconnect your nerves to your steps, avocado. Together, they don't just strengthen your legs, they protect your independence, guard your dignity, and give you back the freedom of confident movement. And you can start today, not next month, not after a diagnosis. Today, your next meal can be the first step toward better balance, better sleep, and better mornings. So before you go, if this video gave you something useful, something hopeful, give it a like so we know you're walking this journey with us. And share it with someone who might be quietly struggling. A friend, a neighbor, a parent. They deserve to feel strong again too. Finally, don't forget to subscribe to Senior Fit, where every step you take brings you closer to the strength, stability, and joy you deserve. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay steady, stay curious, and stay moving forward.